Hello there. Today I want to give a short tutorial about the best way of doing collision detection in Unity 2D. So this is a character model. This is what I first went with. I think I read this in a tutorial long when I was beginning. Was to give the character a rounded bottom. The idea being that a rounded bottom would let the character go up sloped edges. So you can see here, it can go right up and there's no issue there. And it reaches the edge and there's no bounce. And in this particular demo, I'm using the same techniques I used in my other video, which was about muting slopes. If anybody has worked with Unity before, they'll know that the character kind of slides down the edge, and so that has to be switched off. Well, not switched off, but rather countered. So you can see that, yeah, it works well, but there's other problems with it. Whenever the character tries to jump up edges, you can sort of see that they sort of slide up the edge. It's very difficult to see here. I'll try slowing it down for you. But the rounded bottom actually sort of slopes over the corner, and the player can kind of slide up an edge. Whenever your character's standing on a precipice, you can see that they sort of slide down, and that's because of the rounded corner. So if you can imagine the rounded bottom of the character sitting on the edge, the physics engine's obviously going to try to make that ball sort of slide off that corner. Now that's fine for complicated physics objects, but this is our player character, and what we see in other games like Super Metroid or Mega Man is that when the character is close to an edge, that the character will still hover on it. It's not completely realistic, and sometimes the sprite doesn't even align with the correct edge, but in terms of game feel, this works really well. It gives the player more control over the avatar, so the avatar isn't constantly, slipping over edges and moving without the player's input. And that's really the important thing. You don't want your character moving without specifically controlling it to do so. So what I've decided to do, and I think this is probably the best technique, it's certainly what's working for me at the moment, is instead of giving it a rounded bottom, to give it a square bottom. I know what you're thinking. The first thing you're thinking is, well, if it's got a square bottom, it's going to hit a curve or a slope, and the corner of the bottom is going to crash into that slope. But so what I did was I added this tiny little sphere into the center, and all that does is simply prop up the character just a little bit, like a couple of pixels, so that way that the edge doesn't collide with the slope. So it's given just a little bit of leverage to get over the slope, and then, then it's able to get up just fine. So you can see here, it doesn't do the rolling thing where it slides over the edge, and it doesn't do the thing where it catches on the precipice of an object and then just simply slide over it. Instead, it just sits nice and neat in the corner, just how you want it to. Alright, well, I hope this has been helpful. Thanks, like and subscribe and all that rubbish, and I'll catch you on the next tutorial.